so glad you guys can't see it, my scarf right now.
So this show is huge. It's such a big deal. Was there a moment when you realized, somebody stopped you on the street, or you just saw something online and you realized how big this thing was?
I think for me, I started finding it online because at the time when the show came out, I was up at Sundance at the time. And so, my phone wasn't really working there, and so I couldn't really talk to people, and I wouldn't get text messages or anything until I got back to the cabin, because we were in rehearsal all day. And then I would get home, and I would see my Twitter would be like, you have 100 new followers. Oh, and I was like,
crazy.
Wow. I was like, that tweet must have been really good last night, and I didn't realize, and then I was like, oh wait, the show came out. And then I started seeing that, that kind of influx and just people sharing their thoughts and their feelings about the show and how much they liked it.
Oh. Yeah, it was,
No, go ahead, baby.
I think it's
Ladies
just like,
first.
I think it was just, going into the city, it's crazy because I feel like in the matter of 13 hours, you kind of become like this thing in someone's eyes. So once I, was on the subway and people were stopping me and looking at me and staring at me, it was like, what is happening? Oh, this is creepy. Or like going to the restroom and like the entire line is talking to you about your character, and that's when I was like, oh, this is real, this is happening. So yeah.
For me, it was incredibly weird and personal. I live in Bushwick, which is part of Brooklyn, and yeah, it's definitely the barrio is where I live, and I'm walking to Knickerbocker Street one day doing my laundry, right? I just go around the corner to do my laundry. Literally the next day, same street, same block. So we're talking less than 24 hours since the show dropped. I walk by the Ace Hardware, and some chick runs out with a screwdriver. Big boo, sign my screwdriver. So, and it was not even 24 hours after the show dropped, and I thought, my life's about to change.
One of the things I find really great about the show is that the flashbacks give us so much about your characters, but don't reduce you to what crimes you committed before you were in prison. But at the same time, do you go down to the writer's room and just ask them for all of your backstory, or do you sort of take it as it comes?
I sort of take it as it comes, This is such a new experience for me, and I'm trained in theater, and so I'm so used to like getting the beginning, middle, and end. I think all of us here are used to that, and so this is a new medium. So for me, it was just about always being prepared in each moment and each episode that I'm given at that moment. But there are moments that I'm like, I need a little something. Can you? So I'll go to Gingy and I'll ask her, and it's beautiful because we have the writers there. The writer that was the core writer of that episode, they're there on set when we're shooting it. So it's great to be able to just talk to them and say, can you give me a little something today? And sometimes they do, and then sometimes they're like, you don't need that information right now. So yeah.
It seems like, you have so many people in every scene, so there's people in the backgrounds. What are those days like when it's not necessarily you filming, your storyline, but you kind of have to be there sitting around on the back?
When we're props.
Yeah, when you're props.
When we're background props. My favorite days, because they call so much fun because all of us, and it's a huge cast, and you often don't get to see people. So on those days, everyone's called. And we're all sitting in our various tables, having a good time, having a party, talking to each other. So yeah, loving those days.
And they're exciting to have those days when there are a lot of people on set, or in it. Well, number one, just because it's fun to see everybody. Like, that's just a good time. It's just a nice party for everyone. But then also on days when you're working on scenes where, say we're doing something that's, tailored to Boo or tailored to Tasty. I feel like when I'm working on something that's for me, I feel like these guys have me. Like, really, truly, it feels like the best, biggest safety net one could ever have in their acting artistic experience. So it is nothing but a pleasure, I think, for each of us to kind of be there like, I'm here for you today too.
Yeah.
You know, what is it that you need? It's just really nice.
And if I could just expand on that, I've been in and out. I've been on television for quite a while in various roles, and honestly, I was on One Life to Live for almost 10 years. I've never been on a set with such a family, with like us. When I know people make jokes about it online and they're putting it on, but we're not. I mean, this is a really tight. We go to drink together. We go to pumpkin patches at Halloween. I mean.
Scary houses.
And
we were in Leah's bed last night.
Yeah, we were. She
to
had
her
two
pleasure.
chocolate girls.
Yeah. They think that's the first time I've had two women in my bed.
Yeah.
Please. Really, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. That might be a record for inappropriate language by Lea DeLaria.
Oh my goodness.
The show's great and very lighthearted, but also it takes on some very serious topics. It takes on, prison and what it's like to be in prison. When you were doing research or, anything you might have learned from Piper Kernan's book, what were some things that surprised you and maybe you were, moved by or sort of angered by in learning about women in prison in this country?
I think going in, it's something interesting about watching the show. I think in the beginning, that attraction to watching these closed societies that we get to get a window into, like prison systems or monasteries. We always wonder what's happening inside those walls. So I used to watch MSNBC and Lock Up as very much from a voyeuristic perspective of trying to take in what's happening there. And I know for myself, on the second episode, because I'd read the pilot that summer, and then when I started on work, I was reading the second episode, and it was about a quarter of the way in, I started to stop and really realize, oh, we're not telling stories about crimes. We're telling stories about people, which are who happened to commit crimes. But the story we're talking about are these people and their journey, what it is for Red to be a wife to this man, and what she wants more than anything is to belong. That's the story that's being told here. And that was a change for my life, just my own life, that realizing that these are people and that good people can make mistakes, number one, and that that they are more than just the singular adjective that we want to put on them or descriptor, that they're not just the crime or the jumpsuit or the number. They are someone's mother. They are someone's neighbor. They have a job. They have a parent somewhere, and that was very life-changing.
So season 2 launched today, and we don't want to spoil it for anybody. But what are some things you can tease about what's coming up, and maybe who's going to get some flashbacks and stories?
I'm just going to say one word, #peanut butter.
Good hashtag.
That is a good hashtag.
I've been getting that hashtag
I
all
need to come
day.
up with a good hashtag.
Really? Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a
Hashtag
good one.
peanut butter. I've been getting it all day.
Good one.
I think they just sit around in the writer's room and go, what's the craziest thing we can think of, and who will do it? Oh, yeah, give it to DeLaria. I really do.
I think this season is very exciting. I think it intensifies to the 100th degree, more and more and more of everything that you love. And you get great backstories. This season you'll get to see mine, or not mine, Tasty's.
I want to see your backstory.
Oh, Lord. I don't know if I'm ready to share that with the world.
You were in my bed last night.
Oh, God. Do not write about that.
And now they will.
So I think there's a lot to look forward to. A lot of your the cliffhangers are answered this season, but then it also leaves you with some other things that are like, what's gonna happen? But there's some new characters too, like V, played by Lorraine Toussaint.
Oh my God.
She really comes in. Yeah, she really comes in and rocks it. So I'm excited for people to see that.
I think Kimiko Glenn, too.
Kimiko, yeah.
Who plays the character Brooke, embodies that whiny liberal that you just want to smack every time you meet him. So great. She's terrific.
She is.
If Orange is the New Black ran, and we're going to start doing some audience questions, so start thinking of your questions, which will be better than mine. If Orange is the New Black ran, 7, 8, 9 years, where would you want to see your characters end up at the end of that journey? Just even in terms of emotional.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think I would like for Suzanne to have more of the same, in that I love that they continue to place her on solid ground, and that effort is continuous, and to round her out, continue to round her out, and keep having her and myself as the actor have questions come up and burn up as far as the love question, what it is to love, what it means to love, how far someone will go for love, what someone will do for love. I would love to see that continuation to keep building, and I love seeing her vulnerability, her willingness to just live, I guess. I would love to just see that fire continue to be stoked.
Okay, go ahead.
We're never quite sure when to go. I would love it if Big Boo actually, had sex with a human. Made a relationship with something other than a machine, or that would be just awesome. I would love to see what would happen to Boo in an actual relationship. I mean, we've seen her talk about relationship. I would just love to see what the writers envisioned for her in that situation, and how I could make it happen. That would be great. And of course, I would like that she would never get out of prison. Maybe she could, shiv porn stash or something and get a life sentence. So, yeah, that'd be great.
For me, I would love to see Tasty develop into Tasha. I feel like she's not quite there yet, honestly, and I think I would love to just see her become a woman, and I think, for season 1, we end up with that conversation with her and Poussey in the library, and she really takes to heart that in season 2, she really takes to heart that conversation, and she's trying so hard. She's so hopeful of, getting out. And I just would love to see her grow as a human being. And for me, that's the cool thing about the show. It doesn't have to all be in prison. So, if that means Tasty getting out, but staying on the show, that would be awesome.
All right, let's throw it out to the audience, and I think we're just going to raise hands, and I hope, and then stand up, and right there in the pink shirt.
They're writing as we're shooting. Yeah, they start. I think they start out with the concept. I think
they know about maybe like 6 to 7 episodes ahead of time, and then as the actors bring the characters to life, I think they start to develop the next half of that season. But we shoot from, tell me if I'm wrong, but like June to January, February, about 6-7 months each season.
It's a 6-month shoot.
Yeah.
13 episodes.
But they do, we're actually in production now for season 3. Turn up.
And it's awesome. It really is.
It takes about, and tell me if I'm wrong again, because I'm not good at math, even though Tasha is, maybe like 8 to 10 days, 9 days to shoot an episode.
And we don't work weekends. I mean, this is all a matter of record. We're not, so that's why it takes 6 months. I mean, it's just, it's normal episodic television. That's the way normal episodic television is shot, and at the same length of time. So they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just letting all the shows come out at once. And I mean, who are we to comment on the Netflix business plan? But the reality is, obviously it works. And nobody can fault it, you know what I mean?
Next up.
Sure, hopefully the explored is Fig.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just wondering, will we see something happen to Fig? My fantasy is she winds up in prison and with you. And my question to you is, if she did wind up in prison, how do you envision your characters interacting with her or even possibly torturing her?
Yeah,
Well,
Boo's gonna hit on her.
I think Tasty might align with her. You know, I mean, like, shoot, that she knows a lot about the system.
Yeah.
So I think it would be smart for her to like align with her. But for Fig, I think you're gonna be happy to see what happens to her in season 2. And like I always say, like my idea, I had the same idea, but the writers are so much more brilliant than what I could have can't come up with. So like I think you'll be pleased.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. I agree with all of that. I agree with all of that. Yes. Agreed. It'll be interesting. I think it is interesting, like that the show like kind of touches on that sort of who is the real criminal and what is the real crime. You know, that's really an interesting play on it, from Mr. Healy to Fig to Pornstash to Bennett, frankly, who is, you know, sleeping with Miss Dayanara.
No, as much as we're invested in that story, it's wrong.
Yeah,
It's completely incorrect.
Yes, and we forgive it. You know, it's so interesting. So that Netflix subscription, I feel like, is going to be used hopefully this weekend by you, so you can find out what happened.
Down here. The question is, which quality of your character do you wish you had in real life?
Which quality do I wish I had of Suzanne? I love how, and with complete abandon, she lives. She just, it's like fearless, like nonstop. I love how like she lives her entire life at a 10. And I mean, I don't need to like pee on the floor, but like, I do think like, you know, like she does, like I don't need to, but like I do think that like she, like, that kind of commitment to whatever it is that she's going to make happen or do or go for, she goes for it with full force. And I think that's really beautiful. And I love also, no matter how many times she hears no, she still keeps attacking love. She will keep attacking love, attacking love, attacking love.
Lea?
Which quality of my character I wish I had? Yeah, I wish I was a lesbian. Because it's really hard being heterosexual and playing this girl. What? It's a different question for me because the reality of Big Boo, and I guess you guys are aficionados of the show, you probably already know this, was that Big Boo was a very tiny character that was not going to be in the show, and they pretty much created her for me once I had the role. So honestly, Big Boo is me. They really, so all the qualities you see in I got them already because they're me. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why the role fits me so well, because she says things that I would fucking say in a second. So it's great. Yeah.
Danielle?
For me, I would say with Tasty, she definitely brings, when she is feeling some type of way or has a situation or an issue, she finds the joy in those moments. And I feel like I do too, but I think the gift, you know, I think each character gives you, the actor, a gift when you play them. And for me, I think season 2, she's taught me, like, you really got to deal with your shit. You can't just let that go on and just deal with it by laughing and joking, so.
And right here in the center, green shirt.
With Yoga Jones? How's it working with Yoga Jones? I have a story about Yoga Jones, but not working, like outside of prison. I'll never forget, I had ran into her at Barnes & Noble, the actor, yeah. And I ran into her at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, yo, Connie, what's up? Hey. And she looked at me like, who in the world are you? And I was like, I'm on the show. And then she's like, oh, yeah. And then she admitted to me later, she like didn't read the script that day or something. She didn't know who I was until it came out. And she's like, oh, that's that girl. I love working with her.
Yes, I love I think she's just hilarious, like straight up hilarious. I think she's so hilarious.
We're all
Like,
laughing so hard.
yes, hilarious. She is so funny. She's like, first of all, the sweetest person and super talented, and like, she is just straight up hilarious. Like, her sense of humor is so straight and dry, and you just are like, you'll be sitting there talking about whatever you'll be talking about, and then she'll be like, with that voice, just like, well, I don't know if I like that.
It's so her.
That's
like,
gross.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Yes,
I don't
that
even
is
know
her.
what Yoga Jones is doing here. Can somebody tell me? Are we friends? She does it's hilarious.
I love it.
She does this. Like most actors, this is my favorite. Connie Shulman. When in doubt, look to Connie, I always say. When in doubt, look at Connie Shulman. That's her real name. Look at Connie. Connie will not be in a group scene. If she's in a group scene, she gets 20 people behind. And most actors really want camera time. You know, they want to be in the front. So for the first season, we as cast members started a game, a drinking game called Where's Connie? If you spot Yoga Jones, you have to take a shot. So start looking at crowds and trying to find her in the second season and enjoy that drinking game. We like it.
Oh, God.
The pink shirt there.
Well, I'm about to get Big Boo this season. I am getting Leah. I just found out her weakness. Backstage, she's scared of bugs, and I am ready to go in on her. We don't really joke like that way. We don't really pull pranks on each other, but I know there's times like ghetto dorms, we will be singing Negro spiritual.
Ghetto dorm. All day.
Ghetto dorms.
All day.
Hilarious.
We do.
Yes.
We play hand games like patty cake and all this stuff.
Yes.
It's so much fun. You remember that time we were in, I think we were in my dressing room and I taped it, and you were talking about Idris Elba.
Oh
and
my
like,
gosh, yes,
Uzo
yes.
started doing his
Yes.
little dialects and everything.
Yes.
It was so cute.
We have a good time. I mean, ghetto dorm. Like, we literally,
It is
we
so wrong.
have a good time in there. Like, we just have a really good time. We like to sing a lot. We hang out in each other's dressing rooms all the time. We start the day rehearsing together, so that's always
We
like
do,
really fun,
yeah.
which I love. That's like my favorite. And it's like a good powwow. And then like go do the shot, and then like between takes, we are just a mess.
Acting up. They have to tell us to get it together sometimes. Like, it's like that bad.
Especially when Tash and I are in scenes together, we like to try to make each other break. That's our thing. Like on camera, we're saying things that aren't actually in the script at each other while it's rolling, just straight faced. And sometimes it's just the most horror. Like she really got me on Monday.
Uzo makes me
I'll tell
laugh
you
all
later.
the time.
But because it'll be a spoiler for you. But yeah, that's to me one of my favorite things. I personally like to be the funniest person in a room, and it's really fucking annoying to me that Natasha Lyonne is funnier than I am. But I have to give it up to her because she kills me.
Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she'll just walk into your room and just start, like, that should be the name of her autobiography, Enter Screaming. She walks into your room, she's like, DeLaria, what are you gonna do? Whatever room she's in. And it's the craziest nonlinear thing, and it just goes on for 20 minutes.
Her and Root Beer just
And her
The
dog.
dog. The dog.
That's her dog. She brings Root Beer on the set, and Root Beer runs around the rooms barking at. It never stops barking. And you look at her going, Laria, rah, 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 rah. And her dog goes, woo, woo, woo. Well, I wonder where the dog gets it from. And it's Root Beer likes anal sex. That was the one last week. Root Beer likes anal sex. Root Beer likes anal sex. She's yelling at her dog in the hallway. It's craziness.
Next question.
We have time for
No.
we have time for a couple more right here.
I was like, you were
Crazy
raising your
eyes.
hand. I was like, what?
I would kill. Who wouldn't want to play Crazy Eyes?
I
What
couldn't.
a brilliant
All of these
character.
women.
Except I'd be terrified to do it after
That's
this.
what I mean. There's no way I could play Crazy Eyes.
She
after
is,
it.
Uzo, I'm just going to say it. She's brilliant
Yeah, she
in this
is.
role.
Thank you very much. Big Boo. I would love to play Big Boo and Tasty. Those parts are fine with me too because I could say, you sound like, what is it? What is the Tori Amos cover band? That's like one of my.
This is more depressing than a Tori Amos cover band.
And also, just so I can say, because like I only broke one time first season 1, and it was when Danielle was giving her AA speech. This is like my ace boom right here. I love this girl, like start to finish. I think she's phenomenally talented.
Thank you.
Like brilliant. And that scene, which is like dead hilarious, like drop dead hilarious. And she has.
I didn't know how to play it. I didn't even know how to play it. I think that's why it's funny, because I didn't know what to do.
And I looked up, and I had barbecue sauce on my titties, and I looked up, and I thought, and I was dying each time, like in live. Like I was just like, she is hilarious.
You had me dying season 2.
I was dying. It's like, again? I just couldn't.
That's my favorite. I couldn't believe it. Again, made me laugh so hard.
Pennsatucky, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would love to try. I don't think I could do it. Just like crazy. I don't think what those 2 women have brought to those parts is this. But Chang, y'all, do not underestimate Chang. That's who
Lori, don't sleep on.
No.
That like
I'm just
falling
saying.
asleep.
Yeah.
With that catfish mustache on.
Yo, when she came in set the first day and she had that mustache, I thought it was hers. And I was nervous. And I was like, this woman really has a mustache. No lie. I thought it was hers. Thank God it wasn't.
That's like how I thought. I thought it was Emma. I thought her teeth were real. And I was looking at her teeth, and she was talking to me, and the whole time I'm staring at her, I was like, how am I going to tell this girl that she needs to do something about her? Like, I don't know her, but I am going to somebody has been lying to her entire life, and I am going to have to set her straight. I could not believe it. And then she was like, and the tattoo paint, I was like, oh, thank God.
But I was in the makeup chair next to her when they were doing that to her, and Emma, who plays the role, is like a total California beauty. You know what I mean? Yeah, so long blonde hair, blue eyes, gorgeous California girl. Yeah. And by the time, well, you see what she looks like when they're done with her. Yeah. Hideous trailer trash hoe.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. That teeth thing was like, ugh.
That's too much. Oh. But all the women, I mean, honestly, like in all seriousness, like I watched the show and I truly like, I think we all feel this way, that it's such a beautiful kaleidoscope of different characters and roles, and to say like the one, it's just like, I love every piece of every single one. I love Sophia saying pleases for, hoes and Oliver Twist. I love Gloria's one line, you see, white girls speak Spanish. Just all these different aspects. Red, that's my chicken. You know what I mean? You love them all, and that beautiful composite that they make up, it's great.
We have time for one last question. So.
Can you get that lady in the back in the black? She's been,
okay.
she's been raising her hand. Yeah.
I can't say so much how other people responded. I know for myself, when I opened the script, I was like, these are her parents? Yeah, it was amazing.
I texted you even.
Yes.
I can't believe it. Those are
yes, I remember you did. Yeah, you did. I remember it's like, what is this? I mean, yeah, because it's like, I know certainly as I was walking down the path, that was not a piece of it. I had a conversation about whatever number of episodes before about, we're going to bring your parents in, and that was the end of it. And I thought, okay, that's cool. But it was interesting because as soon as I met them and I realized that they're these academics and they have a way themselves of speaking that, this totally informs all this poetry, and then later helped to assist in why she has this knowledge of Ophelia and the Bard and all of this, not in particular specific to race, but certainly about their educational position, right? So I thought that was super interesting. But for all of us, really, I think it opens our minds up to realizing that we're all more than what we might seem on the outset. Like, I think a beautiful thing that they do with Tasty, and Danielle will know it better than I, is we think this is who she is, but here she is, she's super well-read. She's good with numbers. She's incredibly intelligent young lady. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really gets rid of this stereotype of what all of the women in prison that you think that they are. And that's one reason I love playing Tasty, like Uzo mentioned, is she is very educated. Yes, she has that that form of being in a foster home and not having a family, coming from that background, but she's proven to break out of that. And I think it's really great for our society, you know, to really take a look at how we are judging one another with all of these women, you know.
Yeah. I have to double that. I mean, usually when you, this is what it's like, I've died and I've gone to feminist Leslie heaven. Because honestly, my entire career, I mean, I've been a professional lesbian for over 30 years, and you know, before that I freelanced. But but my entire career has been about that, about putting a human face on what a butch is. And to be able to actually finally get to portray this, because generally, whenever you see someone like my character in any television show, she's stupid, she's fighting some other dyke with a pool cue, she's a truck driver, she doesn't, you know, wouldn't know math or anything. And just, it's interesting to me that not only is Big Boo smart, she's the smartest woman in the prison, and always has a warm heart and a warm soul, and is three-dimensional and not a caricature. And like they're saying across the board, that's everything in that show. And I think that makes us all really feel blessed to be in this show.
To be that face.
Yeah. I do. I really do.
Absolutely. I adore you. Her booze.
What a great note to end on, and please be watching Orange is the New Black Season 2 on your phones or tablets or whatever while you're here. Thank you so much for coming, and thank these wonderful women for joining us.
Watch it today. Watch it today.